In 1880, a 43-year-old woman walked into a Paris clinic with a claim that defied the boundaries of medical science. She didn't have a virus or contagious disease, and to everyone in the clinic that day, she appeared healthy. There were no visible bruises or broken bones. No, it was something else. Something you couldn't see. In the first case of its kind ever recorded, the woman told physicians she was dead, that she had no brain, and that she was a deteriorating corpse. In the medical literature, known only as Mademoiselle X, the events that followed would have her institutionalized for the remainder of her life, making her case one that would be studied for decades to come. This is the true story of Mademoiselle X. Historically, we know very little about Mademoiselle's day-to-day home life before her illness. But what we do know from medical archives paint a haunting picture of what her home environment must have been like. Before she was institutionalized, her family had to live with a woman who was physically present but functionally a ghost. They watched her stop participating in domestic life completely, abandoning her bed, refusing to speak for days, and wandering the house asserting that she didn't have a body. She told them that she had no brain, no nerves, no chest, and no stomach. She truly believed she was a walking, putrefying corpse. And not only that, there was also the intense religious anxieties. She claimed that she was damned and that she could never be saved. What Mademoiselle was experiencing would be called walking corpse syndrome, also known as Cotard's delusion. It was named after Dr. Jules Cotard, the French neurologist and psychiatrist that treated Mademoiselle. Cotard's is a rare psychiatric condition where a person believes they are dead, missing their internal organs, or completely non-existent. At the time, Cotard called the condition délire de négation, the delusion of negation. Having never encountered a case such as this, Cotard became completely obsessed with Mademoiselle's condition. What he discovered was that it develops over 3 stages. First comes the germination stage. The patient suffers from severe, inexplicable anxiety and a profound sense of hypochondria. They feel a strange internal shift, a creeping sensation that something inside their body is fundamentally wrong, though doctors can find no physical cause. Next, the blooming stage. This is where the full delusion manifests. The anxiety crystallizes into absolute certainty. Like Mademoiselle, the patient begins to deny the existence of their own body parts, their blood or their very soul. Finally, the condition enters the chronic stage. The delusion becomes the patient's entire identity. Their reality hardens, and they completely stop interacting with the world as a living being, sinking into a permanent state of emotional paralysis. This all takes place because of a glitch in 2 distinct pathways in the brain, the fusiform face area, which recognizes features, and the amygdala, which attaches emotional weight to them. Think of it like this. When you look in a mirror, your brain doesn't just see a face, it feels a connection to it. It confirms, this is me. But in a brain experiencing Cotard's, that bridge is entirely severed. When a patient looks at their reflection, the visual data arrives perfectly, but the emotional resonance is completely dead. The regions responsible for internal awareness are almost entirely dark, mimicking a state of deep vegetative sleep. They look at their hand, and it feels like a foreign object. The logical mind, trying to make sense of this absolute lack of feeling, arrives at the only conclusion left. I feel nothing, therefore. I must be dead. In Mademoiselle's brain, that emotional pathway was entirely severed. She could physically feel her pulse and the air entering her lungs. but her brain generated absolutely zero emotional connection to those sensations. The physical feedback felt entirely alien. Her conscious mind was confronted with the reality. If I can feel a pulse but I feel entirely non-existent, what am I? Back before being admitted, Mademoiselle's family was forced to watch her methodically starve herself in their own living room, creating an atmosphere of helplessness. Fast forward, and just as she did at home, because she believed she was dead, she came to a perfectly logical yet fatal conclusion. Corpses do not need to eat. Mademoiselle refused all sustenance. When asylum staff tried to feed her, she pushed the plates away, calmly arguing that attempting to nourish a rotting body was not only a waste of time, but a profound insult to the natural order of the universe. For weeks, Dr. Cotard and his staff watched helplessly as she withered away. You have to understand, in the late 1800s, there were no antipsychotic medications. There was no way to calm the chaos in her brain or repair the broken neural pathways. The psychological torment was sealed. Mademoiselle X was trapped in a tragic paradox. She felt the physical, gnawing agony of starvation, but because she believed she was dead, she interpreted that pain as the eternal suffering of a damned soul. Ultimately, the delusion won. Mademoiselle successfully starved herself to death in the asylum, dying of literal starvation because she could never be convinced that her body was alive. To modern neuroscience, the true horror of Cotard's delusion, or walking corpse syndrome, is that it isn't just a random trick of the imagination. It is caused by a devastating neurological malfunction, the ultimate disconnect between perception and emotion. Today, modern medicine can treat Cotards using a combination of antipsychotics, antidepressants, and most commonly, electroconvulsive therapy. Think about it. We construct our entire lives around the absolute certainty of our own being. We think, therefore we are. But the archive of Mademoiselle reminds us just how fragile that certainty truly is. It only takes a tiny, silent misfire in the mainframe that is our brain for the world to remain entirely intact, while you vanish from it completely. In the end, the body remains, the voice speaks, but the occupant is gone. If you made it to the end, thank you and welcome back. Schoolwork got crazy and final exams were due, but I'm back and ready to share more fascinating true stories with you all. So what did you think of the case of Cotard's? Wild, isn't it? One day, Mademoiselle was a regular mum, then the next she was gone, truly believing she was a walking corpse. If that's not real-life horror, what is? Through my research, I've found that Cotard's is more common in women, often associated with brain injuries, epilepsy, and co-occurring disorders like schizophrenia and major depressive disorder. It's truly amazing what the brain is capable of. Okay guys, that's it for now. If you haven't yet, click that like button and don't forget to subscribe. I'd love to have you here for more. And comment below if you've ever heard of this condition. And if you haven't, what do you think you'd do if someone you knew started showing symptoms? As always, until next time, fly safe.